and Putin stunned Europe with peace plan for Ukraine. It was the moment Europeans and Ukrainians have been dreading for months, if not years. Yet when it finally came on a wintry afternoon as Kiev froze in icy temperatures, the suddenness and scale of Donald Trump's peace plan still left Ukraine's allies in shock. The United States has effectively called time on its support for Ukraine as it resists Russia's invasion, with Trump announcing immediate negotiations with Russian President Vladimir Putin and telling Ukraine leader Volodymyr Zelensky to give up hope of taking back all the land Russia has seized. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth was the first to divulge America's position at a meeting at NATO headquarters in Brussels. Hegseth told his counterparts gathered in the Belgian capital that Zelensky had no chance of achieving his goal of kicking Russian forces out of Crimea and the east of the country and returning Ukraine to its pre-2014 borders. Hegseth said, chasing this illusionary goal will only prolong the war and cause more suffering. And then he warned that America will be pulling back from its commitments to European security, renouncing the historic role it's played since the end of World War II, and set out a stark vision in which European governments will bear primary responsibility for their own defenses, as well as that of Ukraine. And soon after, Trump extinguished any hope the cold new reality could be avoided. The U.S. president said in a post on social media, "I just had a lengthy and highly productive phone call with President Vladimir Putin of Russia. We have also agreed to have our respective teams start negotiations immediately, and we will begin by calling President Zelensky of Ukraine to inform him of the conversation. Millions of people have died in the war that would not have happened if I were president, but it did happen, so it must end. No more lives should be lost," he said. Get it done? Zelensky put a brave face on the situation, summarizing in the post on X what he called a meaningful conversation with Trump. President Trump shared details of his conversation with Putin. The Ukraine president said, "No one wants peace more than Ukraine. Together with the U.S., we are charting our next steps to stop Russian aggression and ensure a lasting, reliable peace. As President Trump said, let's get it done." European diplomats seemed unsure how to respond as they tried to process the details of Hegseth and Trump's announcements. The brutal truth is, at a European Union level at least, relations with the new White House are so bad as to be virtually non-existent. There was no immediate comment from European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen or the bloc's chief diplomat Kaja Kallas. Some of Ukraine's allies elsewhere in Europe were more forthright in their rejection of Trump's approach, especially his decision to devise a peace plan directly with Putin and apparently only involving Ukraine's leader as an afterthought. Well, who else would he involve? I don't understand. We have always underlined that there will be no decision made on Ukraine without Ukraine. He is talking to Ukraine. He did speak with Zelensky. German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock told journalists, peace can only be achieved together, and that means with Ukraine and with the Europeans. Why the Europeans? The Europeans are not at war. Ukraine it's got the conflict. Speaking to Politico, Latvian Foreign Minister Baiba Bras said Ukrainian agency in any peace talks is crucially important. No NATO. Poland's Foreign Minister Radoslaw Sikorski said Ukraine needed more military backing before opening talks with Putin. Poland will unwaveringly seek intensified military support for Ukraine, he said. The reinforcement of Ukraine capabilities before potential discussion with Russia is critical for our continent. France was also at odds with the American position, insisting Ukraine should remain on path to joining NATO earlier. Hegseth had effectively ruled that out, at least as part of any security guarantee accompanying a peace deal. He also ruled out the participation of U.S. troops in any peacekeeping mission and said NATO as an organization should not be involved. Let's remember that Trump is thinking of pulling out of NATO anyway. We are very attached to a pathway for Ukraine towards NATO. If there's peace, we need security guarantees so that it's fair and lasting, said Jean-Noël Barrot, the French foreign minister. It's Europe's security that's at stake with this war of aggression. That has upset the world order and means we cannot return to the world before the invasion. In his announcement, Trump said a team will begin talking with Putin's representatives straight away. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio will be joining the CIA Director John Ratcliffe and National Security Advisor Michael Waltz as part of the American negotiation team. Trump said, "I believe this effort will lead to a successful conclusion, hopefully soon." Alexander Maresko, head of the Foreign Relations Committee in the Ukrainian Parliament, said Hegseth's comments were illogical. The new secretary, security secretary, should simply start by coming to Ukraine and getting acquainted with the Ukrainian armed forces, Maresko said. Ukraine can return all of its territory. This is absolutely real. But for this to happen, more military technical assistance from the United States and stronger sanctions are needed. In particular, U.S. financial sanctions against the Russian economy. British officials said they agree that Europe should do more. "We hear you," UK Defence Minister John Healey said in response to Hegseth's comments. "On stepping up for Ukraine, we are and we will. On stepping up for European security, we are and we will." This is from Politico on DNYUZ. Now, obviously, Europe wants to save face. And I think that obviously they'll just have to agree to what Zelensky, Trump, and Putin have basically already agreed to. Please leave your comments about this, and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.